Hi, friends. I'm Katie.
And I'm Lauren. And welcome to Okay, but Did You Know? A podcast where we talk about the TV and media that we love with a friend who's never seen it before.
Today, we're recapping and chatting about Bob's Burgers Season 4, Episode 9, Slumber Party, and Episode 10, Presto-Tina-O, which is a title.
That is so hard to say. Honestly, that I thought Mother Daughter Laser Razor was hard, but Presto-Tina-O I think might actually be worse.
I think God Rest Ye Gentle Mannequins is still the most annoying, though.
That one at least kind of rolls off the tongue. God rest ye merry gentle mannequins.
There'll be
Maybe.
more fun ones as we go.
Oh yay.
So, we always start off with a synopsis. So, here's my synopsis for Slumber Party. Linda wants Louise to host a slumber party, and Louise doesn't want to in the slightest. Linda surprises Louise and invites a few of her classmates over and insists on hosting an amazing slumber party. Louise is not happy and starts to sabotage her own party. The girls all start to request to go home, all except boring Jessica. Jessica has accidents and is on the search for the missing proof, battling it out with Louise. Linda lets in one of the alley raccoons, Little King Trashmouth, and he finds the pajamas and her secret is out. Louise and Jessica end up enjoying their time together and she stays. Bob, Linda, and Teddy try to catch El Diablo, making the alley safe for Little King Trashmouth again. Because you got it's so much better with raccoons, right?
Oh, definitely. Well, there were no burgers. We had to have raccoons.
We had to have raccoons, so at least there was a medium. But as always, we
Yeah.
start off with the puns. What did you get for the vacant storefront?
Tanking it to the streets tank top shop.
Why there needs to be a specific shop for tank tops, we'll never know.
I mean, sometimes you just need a very specific tank top. What can you say?
Very specific. Well, I mean, you had a time there where you were looking for very specific tank tops. I could see that.
Hey, I'm rocking my very specific
Hmm.
racerback ribbed tank tops from Target from last year because they make my shoulders look good.
Yes, they do. And pest control truck.
You never call, you never rat. Pest control.
How do you feel about that one?
It's fine. It's not. It's not one of the ones where I'm like, really. But it's also not super clever. It's still not Jack be nimble, Jack be
I
dead.
think that's gonna be your favorite one forever.
That one is just like it's so to the point.
That's a good thing, though.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. Sometimes humor can be overt.
Now I
Sometimes
know.
that's what makes it funny.
Yeah. Now I know you know some of our guest stars.
I do.
So we have Rachel Dratch as Jody.
Hmm.
If for those who don't know, Rachel Dratch has done a lot of SNL and a lot of Adam Sandler movies.
Yes, she has. She is the infamous Debbie Downer from
She
SNL,
is.
which that sketch, that series, this is my personal opinion. The sketch itself is never as funny as just the actors breaking in the scene. That's what makes
Mm-hmm.
them funny, in my opinion. The sketches themselves are not that funny, but it's the actors unable to control themselves. That's what makes it funny.
So that makes me think of my favorite SNL sketch, though.
Hmm.
Ryan Gosling, but with the ones where they're like talking to like usually like FBI or something like that, like First Encounter. Like I think the first one was
Hmm.
like First Encounters, and you've got
Hmm.
Kate McKinnon
Oh yeah, yeah.
and Ryan Gosling like breaking down. I will have to link that one. It is my
Hmm.
favorite of all time, and I love Kate McKinnon. I love her so
Hmm.
much. The kids actually got me to watch like the Ghostbusters with her in it this weekend, and
Hmm.
I had feelings. So
Fair.
it's Kate McKinnon.
It is.
And so then we have Harley, who is played by Katie Crown.
Hmm.
She's done a lot of voiceovers, but in the last few years, she's done a lot of the Barbie movies. So not like our classic Barbie movies that we grew up with, but like
Uh huh.
now Barbie movies in the past few years.
Gotcha.
She doesn't play Barbie, but she's one of the like she's usually like a
Hmm.
good side character. But so she has
Sure.
done quite a bit of voice acting.
Okay. In
And
my opinion, truthfully, no Barbie movie can ever meet the superiority that is Barbie in The Princess and the Pauper.
see, and I was
In my opinion,
I was partial to the Nutcracker.
that was a good one. That was a good one. But there's something about The Princess and the Pauper and just the unhingedness that was Martin Short
Yeah.
in
Oh
that
yeah.
first, and to the point where even he forgets that he's in it.
I love those roles though that the actors are like do a phenomenal job and they're like, oh wait, I was in that. Like
Oh yeah,
completely.
that's me.
It's like what drugs was I doing around that time? Not that I'm not saying Martin Short has done drugs, but there's a lot of actors that they're like, wait a minute, what was I on? And then my personal favorite, the person who plays Jessica. It's Catherine Hahn. She's in everything. Like,
Yeah, it's hard to also pinpoint. Famous for what you pick.
you pick. Currently she is our Agatha Harkness. So, but
Yes.
she's also been in like Bad Moms 2. She is phenomenal. I love her. Because you can't go wrong with Agatha. Like, she did so
No, you
good in
can't.
WandaVision.
She was. It was Jessica all along.
Oh, I like it.
She's so good. Catherine Hahn is so good in everything that she does.
So,
And like her voice, especially with this, like her voice, because she did pitch her voice a little higher
yeah, you couldn't tell at
than the other. She did.
first.
So it's hard to tell. And eventually I was like listening and I'm like, oh, okay, I definitely recognize this voice. And eventually I'm like, oh, that is Catherine Hahn. It just took a while.
She does a great job. I didn't know that she ever did really like any voice acting apart from like maybe like, some of the animated films out there. I'm sure she's done
Mm-hmm.
voices for that type of stuff. But like kind of like your Kung Fu Panda type stuff where you've got
Yeah.
like a lot of big names doing
Mm-hmm.
different voice acting.
Yeah.
I like this one for a little bit of it is the cover art is the parody for the movie of Scarface, and you of course have Louise
Mm-hmm.
saying her line, "Say hello to my little friend," which is of course a line from Scarface.
Mm-hmm.
So they always like to do their parodies. This was about only thing. This is our first episode that you get to see Little King Trashmouth and El Diablo.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
We will get more of them. The raccoons are a
Okay.
constant.
Gotcha.
And it's one of my favorite parts because they're trash pandas and they make me happy. To the point my husband will send me trash panda videos and I get excited on TikTok
That's fair.
because they're adorable.
That's fair.
Look, they could eat my face off. I don't care, but I want to pet one.
Okay. Maybe don't.
I am Linda. I've given up the wine, but I'm going to keep the raccoons. You okay? You okay?
I've given up the wine, but I'll keep the raccoons.
Just remember, you befriended me.
That's true. I did also silence you with Somewhere That's Wet, so
That's
we're
true.
even. We're even. Listen to our special on Hasbin Hotel if you want context for that.
Not for little ears. Do not listen to that with little ears.
No, not for under 18 ears. But to be fair, Somewhere That's Wet is not an 18 plus reference. The episode itself is.
Technically it could be a reference that's only for 18 plus. Technically.
It's for the Little Mermaid. Quiet, you.
I am.
You're making your face speaks louder than your silence.
I can't help that. My face doesn't know how to be quiet. So then we also have...
There's your title.
My face doesn't know how to be quiet.
Did you know my face doesn't know how to be quiet?
Well, I always make the joke of like, I have the resting bitch face in my family. No, I can't hide my face. If anybody wants to know what I'm thinking, just look at my face. I can't hide shit. It's written on my face.
Mm-hmm.
And my last little fun fact is Twincinnati, two twins who live in Cincinnati, is of course a parody of the Olsen twins.
Yes, absolutely.
Which, duh. So what did you think?
I liked this one. My first note is slumber parties are sometimes fun, but honestly, like when I was a kid, like they got more fun when we got older. Because like my friends, like our sleepovers, like as we got older, my friend group also involved guys, but no one cared. We got older, like pretty much all we did was we played video games and board games. Like we always had a running Smash Brothers tournament, like a running Mario Kart tournament going. People always playing Monopoly or Clue or something. And just as we got older, our big sleepovers just turned into our New Year's party where we just did all of that and got drunk also because we were of age to drink. Like that's when it got a little more fun. I didn't have too many like slumber party like experiences as a kid.
I was about to make the bad joke. You weren't drinking at your kids' slumber parties? And then I remembered where I'm from, so I'm going to shut up.
But Linda's line of, if she'd just do the things she'd hate, I know she'd love it. And it's like, now that is some sound mom logic.
Yeah, that's kind of Linda and Louise's relationship and how it goes, though.
Yeah. I did love when she has the surprise slumber party, she has Louise go get the door. She said, yes, strange visitors at a weird hour. Send your kid to the door.
I love Louise.
Like, she's not wrong. Louise had so many good lines in there because talking about Jessica. If she was a spice,
she'd be flour.
She'd be flour.
My favorite line.
Is so good. Is so good. I don't know, so there was that one, and then when Jody starts going unclean, unclean, reminded me of a SpongeBob reference of Pat. I don't remember why, but Patrick dumping his hands into a sink under the ocean and going, "Don't touch me, I'm sterile."
It's always a SpongeBob reference.
It's always SpongeBob or The Simpsons. I find some reference to make at some point. Um, this one this one was kind of chaos from beginning to end, and not in a bad way whatsoever, because it was always something that I was really enjoying watching. Louise's tactic when she was trying to sabotage everybody to get them to leave, when she was scaring, I think, Harley about the demon brother that lives in the basement, reminded me of a Simpsons Treehouse of Horror, where
Oh
Bart had
yeah.
an evil twin that lived in the attic, and then they found out that they actually put the wrong twin in the attic and they had to swap them. And it's a weird. I don't remember which one it's from, but it's a one of the weirdest ones I think that I've seen
With
in
that
a
scene with
while.
Louise, I wrote down "bit off a piece of my butt," and because she's like, "That's why I'm sitting like this," and I'm like, "No, no, no, I sit like this because of neurodivergency." But okay, Louise.
Yeah. I'm going to assume the bite off my butt thing. I think that's a reference to Candide.
I don't know what that is.
It's a is a French book from I don't know what time period, but in that book, I believe there's a character without a buttock.
I'm sorry. What?
I read it in college.
What is this podcast?
It's weird. It's a
It's a
weird
weird.
story.
We're in a.
It's a weird story. I did love the raccoo d'etat.
And all the times that Linda keeps giving little King Trashmouth wine and that he has a drinking problem.
He's trying to get it under control.
He's trying to get under control. He likes his reds.
He does. I did obviously Louise engaging in actual sleepover behavior when they're having their pillow fight while they're on the hunt for Jessica's things. But I am with them. A memory foam. Actually no. I think this was my note. This wasn't a line. Was when she told to Jean to go get a memory foam pillow. I was like, memory foam pillows can probably do some damage. They're pretty hefty.
I have
Like,
my king size pillows are memory foam. I would not want to get hit with those.
not at all. Like, I wouldn't want to get hit with any of my pillows. I get pretty dense pillows. That's just what I prefer. But like, memory foam, like, that's gonna do some damage. And the closest thing we got to a burger of the day was Teddy's medium snare burger, and I'm like, it's not terrible, but on principle, no.
Yeah.
There's no real burger of the day in this episode, even though this was a good episode. I did like when the girl that was the compulsive braider did his hair, and Linda said, "What's wrong with your hair?" And he goes, "What's right with my hair?" I'm like, I like this positive body image, Bob. I'm here for it.
I actually wrote down with that one. I was like, braiding is actually one of my stims. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm a hair twirler, but I also will sit like while I'm reading and doing stuff. I will just braid portions of my hair over and over again. It's actually a stim of mine.
Mm-hmm.
That I didn't realize was a stim until adulthood,
Yeah.
20 years after I started doing it. So that's a
Mm-hmm.
fun time. The things we learn about ourselves.
The more you know.
Oh my God. And so I also wrote down, though, is Ken real? We may never know.
We may never know. Although I did also write down next that I'm just Ken. I could see Jean loving that song.
I feel like that song was made for Gene.
I think so.
I think so, very much so. I think there's actually been like fan art of Gene wearing like Knuff stuff, like I'm Knuff, like all that.
He would thrive in an I'm Knuff hoodie.
The exact one too, with the colors and everything. I need
exactly.
Gene in that. Maybe I can see if I can find any of the fan art from around the time that Barbie came out, because that role, that everything was made for him. But no, he does have they say imaginary friend.
But how imaginary are we talking here?
I don't know, because the more we learn about his albino friend Ken, the more you start to wonder, is he imaginary? But as of now, and we're into the 14th season, as I'm still waiting on episodes.
Sorry.
I think it's due to the writer strike and everything that went on with it, since like they only had so much done. There was only so much that they were actually making for this season, so I do expect this season to be season 14. Let me get specific here, because we're in season 4 right now. I do expect season 14 to be shorter. I haven't looked up to see if they've had released like how many episodes we're gonna get. At the end of the day, it's okay. Like, at least we're getting some and not none, and it hasn't been like pushed a year. I will take what I can get right now, or just watch the Bob's Burgers movie on repeat, which you still have, quite a few seasons to go because I think you get to
Long
watch
time.
that after season 12.
Oh, okay. Like, unlike, like, with people that ask me about Once Upon a Time, like, "Oh, if they did another season, like, how would you want that?" And, like, and all these other questions and, like, about, like, a possible season 8 that's a meme that's going around that I'm like, This is very, very fake. We're not getting any more of the show." And my answer to do I want more of my own favorite show is no. Which is, like, not an answer
Mm-hmm.
people expect. Like, they think if you're a super fan, you want it to go on forever, and I'm like, I like where the show ends. I think for it to maintain its speciality and for it to kind of feel satisfying, I wanted to end at the right place, and I think it ends at the right place. And people have their disagreements with that. And my thing with like a reboot or anything is it's too soon. Like, just flat out,
Mm-hmm.
it's too soon. The show's been off the air for less than 10 years, but so you need that level of removal for the reboot to feel satisfying. But my thing with it is you need a reason to re-enter the world,
Yeah.
and the way that the show ends, there's not a huge reason to re-enter the world unless you're going to do spin-offs of the history of very specific characters, which aren't going to be as satisfying at the end of the day. They'll be
Yeah.
fun because my thing is I very much would love a spin-off of a certain subset of characters. I think it'd be hilarious as like a one season miniseries and call it a day. However, it's just another main reboot. I just don't see a reason to re-enter the world.
So we have only reached up. We have our 14th season. Bob's Burgers has been renewed up to its 15th season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't foresee it not getting more after that. If we end
Okay.
at 15, we end at 15. But like that's still
Yeah.
15 seasons.
Yeah. Well, like
Uh,
some shows just keep going to the point where they just get like repetitive. They're running out of stories. Like, I mean, Law and Order SVU is on season 26. Like, I haven't watched it in probably 4 or 5 years, but so I don't know where it's going. But
oh
like,
yeah,
it
me
was
either.
not that they're at a loss, unfortunately, for like ripped from the headline stories that they can write stories about, but just everything else. It just feels a little cyclical of
Mm-hmm.
things coming around over and over again. I'm like, we can stop. We can let the characters live their
Yeah,
lives.
Steven and I were actually just talking about this because we watched the new episode of Family Guy that came out recently,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very much just like it was a very similar to like another episode that they've done before. It's like one of their ones they do every now and again where everybody tells their own little story or something like that, which I don't
Mm-hmm.
mind, but it was very much like, oh my god, this is actually really boring. And usually this season, I don't know what season we are in, but the current season of Family Guy, because good god, there's so many seasons.
We're like season like 35 of The Simpsons.
Exactly,
Like,
but like we enjoy Family Guy. I have a huge crush on Seth MacFarlane. I don't know why,
mm-hmm.
because I have problems and he can sing very prettily.
He
And
can.
it just this season so far has been great. We've actually really been enjoying it. We're like, oh, this feels like old Family Guy. It's feeling like
Mm-hmm.
what we remember, the things we loved about it, how it gets snarky and the banter's better. And then they have this
Mm-hmm.
episode drop that we're like, oh, this sucks. Like,
Yeah.
so you kind of when a show goes this long, you got to know that you're going to get some ones that you're just like, eh.
Yeah.
So, and I hope that Bob's could possibly go on forever? Of course I do. It's my comfort show. Do I
Yeah.
expect it to? I
No.
don't know, maybe because both The Simpsons and Family Guy like to rag on it constantly, and it's hilarious.
Maybe. We'll see. Because it's
They
like do we want our favorite things to feel
mhm.
special, and for that to happen, they have to end at the right time, or they have to end period for them to feel special, kind of.
If the
So I feel like having
creators
things
of
going on indefinitely is just not good for anything.
yeah, well, if the creators of Grey's Anatomy could hear us now, please stop.
Oh,
Please stop.
please. You've lost Gray. There's no Grays left.
Mhm. You've reached a
End the
point
show.
that it needed to end after Karev, in my personal opinion. Because at this point, they're just I've seen enough people talk about it. I refuse to watch any more of it. The ending,
Same.
Karev's ending, just had me so pissed. I'm like,
I,
no,
I've
that is not how there
I've
was.
read what it was. I've read what it was. Like, at that point, I think I had stopped watching.
Well, there was just so much personal growth when it comes to Alex Karev that
Mm-hmm.
jumping straight into him doing what he did, I was like, that takes away like so much of his growth that it makes zero sense. So I'm still angry about it if you can't tell.
Yeah, we'll go back to Bob's in a second. Like, my opinion,
Yeah.
like, which is unfortunate for this, is like the show's jump the shark moment for Grey's Anatomy, where it was because I think it was consistently good up until this point, and then it was inconsistent after
Mhm.
that. Is the plane crash finale, which is season 8,
Oh wow, yeah.
which is unfortunate that it's so early, given the fact that the show's been on the air for 20 years. I didn't watch it for another 8 seasons after that. I think I gave up
Mhm.
after 4 or 5. So like, it didn't even get another 8 seasons. Like, it should
I
have.
should
It
have
should have
given up
ended a
after
while ago.
Yang left. Like honestly, I should have given up
Yeah.
after Yang left.
I did give up after we lost Callie.
I don't blame you on that one because that
Because
whole like All
Sada
these
Ramirez was
storylines made no sense.
yeah, Sada Ramirez was really the reason why I kept watching, and when they left, I'm like, you know what? I stayed caught up on Arizona because I
Yeah.
liked the character enough, but to find out what was going on, but not enough to watch the show. And then, I mean, especially when Jessica Capshaw left, I was done. Although I think she is coming back this season as a guest star.
A lot of people have
But
been coming back. My husband and I think we just pretty much gave up when they started making Station 19 apparently required viewing to enjoy Grace.
yeah, no, that's
I was
fair.
like, I'm not watching 2 shows to enjoy my one. But back to Bob's, because
Back to Bob's
if you
Burgers.
can't tell, we like TV.
We do.
Mainly, we just need to sit down sometimes and record ourselves talking about other TV shows and like what we do and don't like. What did you watch this week? That kind of
Honestly,
thing.
we could just make that, just a okay, but did you know coffee chat kind of thing where it's like minorly edited and we'll just see where it goes.
It could be a fun time. Who knows what we'll say? Because we watch a lot of
Watch
TV. I'm watching
watch what happens live.
I watch a lot of cooking shows. We watch Cripopolis, which is getting more episodes than I realized. But it's really
Mhm.
good. It's got Hannah Waddingham. Obviously Bob's when it comes on, and just all the things.
Truthfully though, like if we really did a coffee chat that was barely structured and minorly edited, how much of that would just be us gushing about Hannah Waddingham
And Juno Temple.
and Juno Temple? This is true.
And how I mean I say we say coffee chats, but we might as well just go live. Go live. We'll be talking for
One day.
hours. Okay, so I would love. We know we love this one. This one is amazing.
Mhm.
We love this episode, so I am very excited to hear your stats.
This is the 30.
It's a 30 for me too.
Yeah.
I had a feeling though watching this, I was like, if Lauren didn't like this, I was going to be very sad.
Yeah,
Because
this was a 30. It was off of like last time where like the episodes were okay. I was very happy to have this one, especially with the other episode that we're talking about next. It was like this one was like this was my brand of chaos. It wasn't anything that felt too real or too outlandish at the same time.
Yeah. Like the most outlandish thing
that
is
was my
somehow
thing with,
getting
like,
a
the
raccoon in the house.
yeah, that's the most outlandish bit of it because like it's very much like what you would expect out of like sleepover slumber party
Mhm.
kind of hijinks. But like kind of like what with like the last Halloween episode where like it was chaos, but it felt too real. Like that someone like that could exist in the real world, and that was what like kept me from enjoying that episode.
You're like, no, thank you.
Like, and exactly, and that's dangerous. This exists in the real world, and it's funny.
Yes, because some people do have moms that are like, no, let's have fun, and the kid's just like, I am without people. Oh shit, that's
I
me.
have fun. I have fun the way I want to have fun.
All right, you ready for episode 10? Presto-Tina-O.
You know what? I hate this title too. The saving grace of this one is it has burgers.
It has burgers. So here's the synopsis for episode 10. There's a magic festival and Jimmy Jr. wants to compete. Bob sets a sail for all the magicians in town, then gets frustrated with said magicians, especially Sazerac. Tina convinces Jimmy Jr. to let her be his assistant in the magic show, but all Jimmy Jr. wants to do is dance, not perform any actual magic tricks. The siblings try to sabotage Jimmy Jr.'s act. Tina ends up doing an act of her own after falling out with Jimmy Jr. In the end, Tina and Jimmy perform together, and Bob ends up in a feud with Sazerac, only to be tricked in the end by the magician. Because that was an episode.
That is an episode that exists.
Yeah. I really, like, trying to figure out how to write the synopsis for that one was just like, so much happens that I don't care about. How do I talk about this? But let's at least get the fun part of this episode out, the puns. What did you get for the vacant storefront?
It was Cats a Rising Star Pet Improv.
I want to know how pet improv happens, but there's a secondary sign that says no dogs.
Oh, okay.
Like, apparently that sign on the door says no dogs, so I'm like, so it's like, it's only cats.
Uh-huh.
And the pest control truck.
The pest of times and the worst of times, Exterminator.
You seem to like that. I like that you like this one. And your burgers.
So we have the is this your charred burger?
That's supposed to be like, is this your card magic trick?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Then we have caper magic to yourself burger.
Comes with capers. Also, magic doesn't exist.
And the I don't bay leaf in magic burger. I put underneath that, do not put a bay leaf on a burger. You're not supposed to eat them.
They're for flavor.
They are for flavor. You put them in, you take them out. But I also I do love when the burgers are kind of indicative of Bob's current mental state, like in like the Lobster Fest episode where he was like, it's like one fish, it was like one fish, two fish, no fish burger, or
Yeah.
something like that.
Do you believe in magic? Okay. So we have our Sazerac, who is played
Mm-hmm.
by Andre de Boucher. And I'm
Okay.
Andre de Boucher. That should be how it's pronounced. I took French.
Okay.
He works a lot with Conan.
Okay.
Like almost everything I saw was like this with Conan. This is late night Conan. Conan. A lot with Conan. And
Gotcha.
then, did you figure out who Horace was?
I did not.
It's Jordan Peele.
Oh, okay.
From Key and Peele, Get Out, Us. I mean, it's the Jordan Peele. If you don't know
Jordan
that
Peele.
name, I'm worried for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, sorry, I'm reading my own writing to make sure I'm reading it correctly. Do you ever have those moments? You're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, did I write this?
So you know the book that Tina gets, Dirty Tricks When Doves Cry?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, it appears on the back. It says, if you only buy one Magic Sabotage book this year, make it this one.
Okay, that's good advertising.
And this is apparently Jordan Peele's first guest appearance in the series.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that like this means with the way the wiki worded it, I'm like, if you're saying this is his first appearance, I can't wait to see what he does when he comes back. Mm-hmm. Because I would like him in a better episode.
Yeah, I think so.
And I felt that I needed to put this out here. It is a myth that you need to dislocate your shoulders to escape from a straitjacket. The trick is to actually get like slack in the jacket while the straitjacket is being like put on you.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That way you can maneuver your arm out.
Exactly. You're not actually like that. The trick is not actually to dislocate your shoulder like it's popularly told. Mm-hmm. It's that when they're putting it on you to make sure you've got like a good amount of slack and you can wiggle out of it.
Yeah.
And all I could write really most of this was I hate Jimmy Jr. Jimmy Jr. is so annoying. I think at one point I wrote, seriously, Jimmy Jr. is the absolute worst. He is always being terrible to Tina and she deserves so much better. Like that's most of my notes.
Yeah, same.
Because can we just talk about how much we hate Jimmy Jr.?
Yeah, that's pretty much this whole episode is Jimmy Jr. is the worst. That is exactly what I wrote down, is Jimmy Jr. is the worst.
I know what Tina sees in him. She likes his butt. Like that was her first kiss. Like all these things.
I don't see what she sees in him, but also I'm not a 13-year-old girl attracted to boys. So
well, I was a 13-year-old attracted to boys, so I see it, but I don't like it.
I thought I was at 13.
Look, I was trying to figure out like why am I looking at boys and girls, and here we are.
The more you know.
It wasn't a phase.
It's not a phase, Mom.
It's even funnier when you realize I still dress in all black and have piercings and tattoos now, too. Mm-hmm. Definitely wasn't a phase. No. So, any other thoughts other than Jimmy Jr. is the worst?
Yeah. I wrote down some other things. I said, well, I was shocked that they didn't do the getting stuck in that stupid like trick where the person's in the box. But I don't remember. You haven't said. Did you? I can't remember if you said that you watched Full House or not.
Oh, I've watched Full House. Yeah.
Okay, so the telethon episode when I saw it, that's whenever I see this, I just think of that scene, where Becky goes in it and she gets stuck and she still has to sing a duet with Danny. So I wrote down underneath, oh god, not this trick where she's definitely gonna get stuck in the contraption while he dances. Which is what happened. Then I wrote down, kiss today, goodbye. Maybe we should do this later, which is like how she changes the lyrics in the telethon. Go watch the episode of Full House if you are so inclined to. I think that scene is funny still for some reason. But so much of the dancing and like, it's like, I wanted Tina to beat him. Like, whether she sabotaged him or not, I wanted Tina to win. I don't like that they got their own, like, honorable mention award, although I will say $19.95 is not a bad price for a hardcover book.
It's really not, and I wish
they're $30 now.
Yeah, I was saying since the prices have gone up so much.
Like even like Book of the Month, which is like if you look at them, I mean, of what the books cost at list price versus what I'm paying for it. I mean, their prices have gone up. It's not $15 anymore. I think now it's like $16 or $17. It's still a good deal for a hardcover book. But I mean the quality of them isn't the best, and this is what I always say about I do enjoy Book of the Month. I want to say that before I say what I'm going to say next. I enjoy the service and what it provides, and I do get some good books out of it. However, It is one of the few quote unquote special editions of a book that is usually uglier than the regular run of it.
Yes. The
Like
amount of book of
I
the month book of the month books I find at Second and Charles is a lot.
I hate my edition of Babel, and I was talking to one of our friends because she's got a collection of
Yeah.
basically every edition of Babel that she possibly could have. I do switch between Babel and Babel.
So
It is what it is.
jealous of that
She has like
collection.
every version, and she's like, "Oh, I think I need to get the Book of the Month one." And I said to her, "I'm like, I showed it to her. I'm like, actually, you don't though.
You don't.
I showed it. I'm like,
I could still see her getting it though.
it's so honestly, if she really wanted it, I would. If she really still wants it, I will send her my copy at the end of the day because I do want a nicer copy. But
It's an
it's
impressive collection.
it's a great collection of like every version, every like different regions of like the arcs and
Mhm.
the different. She's got all of them. It's amazing. But it's Book of the Month. It's just it's a decent price, just, but kind of quality wise, you get what you pay for.
Yeah. I just book prices are so high. But it's also
They
like a
are.
specialty, like random specialty book that's like, is this indie pub? At that point too, that I'm like, that's even better. Indie pub at
Yeah.
that price too.
Yeah. Right.
There's just so much with this episode because like Sazerac is annoying and Jimmy
Mm-hmm.
Jr. is annoying, and then you're
Yep.
just kind of like the most enjoyable part is just watching Bob struggle a little bit. It's kind of
Yeah.
funny, and then
Watching Bob
watching
struggle and then Louise trying to learn pickpocketing might have been the most enjoyable part of this.
yeah, and then I kind of like the kids trying to like sabotage Jimmy Jr. because he
Mm-hmm.
deserved it.
Yeah.
But it's just the ending makes you kind of upset because you're like, no, I wanted to see. I get the big happy ending, and they figure out their differences. No, I want
Yeah.
Tina to destroy him.
Like, truthfully, but also, if he just did the magic trick and didn't try to dance, it would have been fine.
Mm-hmm. But it's Jimmy Jr. He has to dance
But why, though?
because he's obsessed with dancing. That's his whole thing is dancing, and apparently just being horrible. But like,
Yeah,
I tell myself too though, what do we expect? His father is Jimmy Pesto.
true. His children,
Like,
yeah, Jimmy Pesto's offspring aren't any better, but, like, they're all awful for different reasons. Like, Andy and Ollie are just insufferable to listen to.
mm-hmm.
And Jimmy Pesto and Jimmy Jr. is insufferable to watch, basically,
Yeah,
because he doesn't stop trying to dance and dance badly. And then you have Jimmy Pesto Sr., who's just an
all of the
awful
above.
and all of the above awful human being. It's like they're all terrible people or all are just not fun characters to watch, but yeah, just for all for different reasons.
All for different reasons, but all for the
It's
same
still
reasons too.
yeah, different but the same all at the same time. It's almost as if they're all of the same family.
And then you kind of watch it and you're like, no wonder the mom left
Yeah.
because he's divorced. You're like, no
Yeah.
wonder Jimmy Pesto is single. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I there's not much redeeming him, and
No.
yet Bob still does so many things in the future that you're just like, why is Bob such a good guy? Because like if you think about it, like him changing the tire
Mm-hmm.
for the Pestos
Yeah.
or the whatever their name actually is, Papa da ba da ba da.
The pesto is fine.
Yeah, his Pesto's fine. I can't remember it. Like I keep wanting to say Papa
Pavlovich?
Lopich. It is Pavlovich. Thank you. I was like, I'm gonna say the wrong thing. I just know it, and then I'm gonna be embarrassed that I don't know my shit.
Yeah.
And here we are. But like you see that Bob still ends up being nice, and he does that from time to time, and you're just like, stop being nice to him. He
Right.
is horrible to you. Stop
Exactly.
being nice to Jimmy Pesto.
He doesn't deserve it.
Yeah, he doesn't deserve it. But, you know, I guess it's being neighborly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you.
Like he's too good for he's too nice for his own good, basically.
That's why we love Bob, though.
Yeah, because he just wants to help out at the end of the day. He is a good guy, but I'm just like, stop. This person doesn't deserve it.
So do you have your own little hierarchy still of like best and worst going, or has it changed any?
It hasn't changed too much. Like the character from that Halloween the kid from that Halloween episode is probably at the bottom just because
Millie,
she just terrifies me, basically. But like for like annoyingness, Teddy is still kind of at the bottom, and then you kind of have Andy and Ollie and Jimmy Jr. are down there. I would maybe Teddy might be above Andy and Ollie and Jimmy Jr., but like not by a whole lot.
Not by a lot. They're like just barely.
It's like they're tied, but like or like barely. Maybe there's like a decimal keeping them apart, kind of thing. Jean, like I said, Jean, I like the core family. I like all the five of them are all good and up there. I like Gail, which I think that might just be because she's played by Megan Mullally.
We
And
need
also
more
she's
Gale.
not. We need more Gail. Like, I just think it's partially probably the voice actor, but also we don't see enough of her for her to be super annoying in my case. Like Andy and Ollie, they may only be in 30 seconds of an episode, but they will be in 30 seconds of 5 episodes in a row.
And then you're just like, okay, that's enough.
It's too much. Like Gail, she'll be in a significant portion of episode, but it's like every 7 to 10 episodes. Like we're not seeing her every week.
Which is understandable. It's like the same with
Yeah.
Frond. We don't see him all the time, but you see
Yeah.
him just enough that you're like, oh god, he still exists.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I really would like if we had more Gale and Mr. Fishoder. Like there's enough of Fishoder too, but there's still those episodes. Like I love Fishoder episodes.
Yeah.
Like the eccentric landlord, right up there with like, yes, thank you.
Yep.
And I'm kind of just taking a look like I always do. And seriously, I just want you to get to the end of season 4, and it's so terrible.
We'll get there eventually.
We'll get there. We'll get there, and it'll be so much fun. The show is wild.
It is, and it's, especially when you compare it to like because as we say, we record both episodes for the week on the same night. It's the dichotomy of why do these people have so much sexual tension? These characters are the worst.
It really is. And then, of course, you have your moments of like, oh, we love Louise because of this. We love Linda because of this. Oh, Bob, our Viking. Like, it's the same thing pretty much every week, but for different reasons.
Yeah. This is my question. Why did Linda just keep a chef's knife in her pocket?
It's Linda?
I guess.
Like, I wish I had a better answer for that, but like, Linda does shit that you're just like, okay.
That's definitely not safe.
It's Linda.
This is true. It is Linda.
Linda also used cold cuts to get a rabid raccoon into her house.
True.
Because of the other mean raccoon. So I really am Linda, man. Because I'm sitting here like I could lure a raccoon into my house. In the last episode, I wanted to talk about how I would totally befriend a crow. So I mean, yeah. I get it. I understand, Linda.
The crow's name was Chili. Why would you not want to befriend a crow named Chili?
Okay, I'm not gonna. But like the names of these raccoons and Bobs.
Yeah.
How do you get Little King Trashmouth?
The same way, like you start with like your pet's like government name and you end with something completely like I'm certain that it started with something reasonable. Like we'll just use my own pets for so we have Mabel. We'll start with Mabel. I
love Mabel.
Mabel is a sweetheart. Mabel turns into, maybe cakes and, and Mabes and maybe babies. But at some point,
definitely maybe baby. Oh my goodness.
Maybe baby is a good one. But then like it just transitions into Mabel the Fluff, which becomes Mabel the Floof, which turns into the Fluffer Nutter, which turns into Floof de Newt.
See, I don't have all those fun ones for us because I've got my dog Luna. We don't really have fun names for her. It's Luna. It's such a pretty name. But then we have Odin, who gets called Odie half the time. Be like Odie, 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 and he loves it. He's also like 100 pounds though, so you say that you're getting stepped on.
Yeah, Charlie is where at least the names get. They're a little closer to her name because, to be fair, I call her Charles. Because Charlie is a gender neutral name. Whether we call her Charles or not is not it is what it is. But then we end up with Chuck Wagon.
I like it. We also have our cats Loki, who's cross-eyed. It's Loki. Like this cat is scary. And then so Minion has multiple names though. Minion is my very fat cat. We've tried to put him on a diet with no luck. Oh. So he's very fat, but he's all black. Okay. And ever since he was a kitten, he's been, of course, Minion. My daughter named him because we told her she couldn't name him something else that I can't say on a podcast. She was 4. Okay. 5. Sorry, 5. She was 5, so she didn't understand. But then he started doing that thing where he just appears out of nowhere. So he's also called the Void. Okay. Because he'll appear out of nowhere, sit or stand there and stare into your soul and will not turn away. Just stare at you. I mean, I've literally watched this cat stare at me for 20 minutes before. It's fucking creepy. But now he's really fat. And so we very lovingly call him fat ass.
I call
It's
my
love
cats
it.
Ass Hat just because it's
So,
what one does. To be fair, the two of them also, Charlie and Mabel respectfully are Wacko and Yakko
yes. I love that.
because Charlie is chaos incarnate and Mabel doesn't shut up.
Oh my god, I'm gonna start calling my dogs Pinky in the Brain. It fits so well. Have you? Because like you've interacted kinda
Yeah,
with my dogs around like on camera because we have yet to meet each other in person
that has not happened yet.
yet. Um. So yeah, let's talk about the very sad stats that it will be this episode.
Sixes across the board. Skits an 18.
18. I gave it a 20. It's like 7 and 7 for plot and character.
Mm-hmm.
6 for personal. Like this is a solid 20.
Yeah, this one was it was an episode that exists.
I feel like we keep saying that. I'm like, are you sure you like this show?
Well, it's like it's the thing is like that happens for some episodes. Truthfully, that's just as we were saying before, with the shows that have been on the air for so long. Sometimes that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Right now, if we're gonna go off of stats, is season 4 my favorite season? No, it is not.
See, now I was like, oh, season 4 is great. And now I'm sitting here like, oh, wait.
Season 4 is
It's because of like a handful of episodes are the reason why?
yeah, because like truthfully, if I look at my stats for season 4 so far, let me go back to
Oh,
my
no.
spreadsheet.
This is going to hurt.
Like it's truthfully like most of them are fine. Like I would say right now it's about 50-50. Like
Okay.
look at today was a 30 and an 18. Like
It's so random.
I have a 21, a 16, a 29, a 22, a 24, a 21, a 23, a 20, a 30, and an 18. Like right now, okay, I can't give you averages right now because it's calculating for the rest of the zeros. But
yeah.
like my average score for the main stats is a 7.2, a 7.7, and a 7.5. That's not bad.
See,
It's
and
not it's not tens across the board, but it's not bad.
my averages right now are 8, 8, and 8.3.
Okay.
So like
It's not that far off.
but I know more information about the
Exactly.
future of the show than you do. Because like I've got 2 30s so far in this season.
This season
but
has
I've got 2 20s and a 21.
Let's see, so far in the show as a whole, I have 2 30s so far.
See, so it's not terrible, but there's stuff like it's very much 50-50 because I've got 24, 25. Oh, there's a 21. Oh, there's a 22, but then there's a 27 and another 24. So like it's very 50-50.
It is very 50-50. And if you would like to take a closer look at our stats, our Patreon members, which will be linked in the show notes if you want to join for $1 a month, our Patreon, they not only do they get access to the book club, which we do talk about sometimes, but they get access to our stats hubs, which also shows you our unhinged notes. And you can see, truthfully, the inner machinations that is Lauren's brain, because I research a lot for this show. Or at least for Once Upon a Time. There's a lot
discovered our notes are very different.
Yes, according to some people that have read them already, our notes are very different because we don't read each other's notes.
Yeah.
But if you want to actually kind of see how we do the stats and everything, that's our Patreon. $1 a month gets you access to our stats hubs.
I will say my Once Upon a Time notes are very much all vibe. I see what something happened and I write down what happens in my brain when I see it happen. And then my Bob's notes are very organized, so I can tell you about the show.
But like, here's the thing: is like my once ones they're structured, but also vibes because it's mostly like the thoughts that go through my mind as I'm watching the show. But then I go back in and color code it to make sure that I can follow what I wrote down. Like I'll make sure that I bold certain things. If I find something that I know I need to find an article for, or I'm going to find a video for, that's going to be in blue. Favorite lines are always in red. Like I'm very particular about my color coding system, but it truthfully is just a page worth of this is my thought process.
So yeah, if you want to see all that, join the Patreon. Which we are doing a lot of fun stuff with the Patreon, and I'm really excited because we're going to read books.
By the time that this episode comes out, our first book club episode will be out soon.
Oh, okay. So you're better at that math than I am.
Cool, because this is coming out the first week of June.
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna be doing
our first book club. Our first book club episode should be out by the end of the month that this episode airs.
Perfect. So yeah, definitely come join us. Read a book. We're only doing a book each quarter as of right now because
we're busy.
We're busy, and hopefully in the future, at some extended date, we will start expanding to other forms of media as well.
Be a good time
because I need to make you watch movies.
We will get there.
We will get there. Not yet.
Not yet, but one day.
Not yet. One day.
Someday. Thank you all for listening. Join us next time when we discuss Once Upon a Time, episode 209, Queen of Hearts. Don't forget to like, rate, and follow the podcast wherever you listen so you can be notified every time we publish a new episode. Follow us at OBDYK_pod on Instagram and TikTok. And if you'd like to join our new book club, you can find the link with more details in our show notes.
This has been an episode of Okay, But Did You Know? A TV and media podcast. It was hosted by Katie and Lauren and edited by Katie.